Okay? So, like I said, and like we said on countless times, kicking the head height is as easy as kicking the groin height, or knee height, depending on who you are and what you're doing. Okay? So bear that in mind as well. It is all well and good being able to kind of stand here, go flick and get a foot up there and everything else like that. But you can also do that in 2 moves, which is useful. Okay? So, we're going to start low. The mechanics don't change. The mechanics are exactly the same as if you kick into the waist, if you kick into the head. Obviously the difference is height, due to target and everything else like that. Alright? So, when we throw any kick, in particular what we will start with is, let's start with a straight kick, which is a 4 count. So hold it quick. There you go. So, as I said, it's a 4 count kick. So basically when we're starting from the back leg in this case, you can call it a thrust kick, a long kick, you can call it anything you want. It's coming off the back leg and it's straight. Ball of the foot basically pointing forward, foot in this position here. Okay? Or this position here for better illustration. Okay? So, it's a 4 count kick. We lift, we extend, we bring it back, we put it back down. Okay? Those are your 4 counts. If one of those is missing, you're either too good or we haven't quite gotten to where we need to be just yet. Okay? Now at this point, we're making sure that we have these 4 counts in here. Okay? So when we set up, as we said, 1 is up, 2 is extension, 3 retraction, 4 back down. Okay? Everyone got that? Thrust kick. This is not me kicking the pad, this is me kicking through the pad. The pad is there to protect him. Okay? So, the idea is instead of him standing there and me powering through him all the time, he can take a little bit more. But I'm not aiming to just kind of go, this is great. I'm aiming to kick through the body. Okay? So, this is just facilitating him being being able to stand there for a little bit longer. Okay? So, same thing again. The hands, it's important. Also the stance. Point towards your target, much like when we do any of our hand work. Same footwork applies. Same direction applies. Everything. Okay? So, from here, hands are up. Hands are your counterbalance. Okay? If I kick, my hands don't go this way because this happens. I fall away. Or I lose my balance. So, as I hit, hands are tense. Upper body, tense. Same thing. Everyone got that? Okay, partner up, left and right sides, obviously, shouldn't have to say this at this late stage in the game. Left and right sides, make sure you do it on both, and each partner gets to go. Okay? 10 kicks each leg, switch. 10 kicks each leg, switch. And keep going until I say stop. Okay? Go. Okay, so, the one thing to note is as well, we're talking about heel toe. Heel toe alignment, we've said this about our stances before. If I'm here, it should be basically my toe, my heel should be aligned. If I drop down, or rather, drop down from here, this should be the line I end up with here. Okay? So, we should always have that line up. Okay? Even if we are pointing directly at the target, we should still have that behind us. Okay? Next thing is, you'll hear from these pads when you get it right, this kind of dull thud. Okay? Which is good, it means you're impacting. Okay? But you want to go through the pad a little bit more, so there's kind of half a beat that we're missing now. Alright? Doesn't add to the count, you just extend one part of it, okay, one part of the movement behind it. So when we go into extension, it doesn't have to be extension, retraction, back down. Extension can be all the way up. What you'll also notice is, when you get the kick in, if you're upright, that's as far as this goes, okay? Which is great if you want to kind of just stick a kick in and score a point, kick him in the groin, whatever, from there, that works. Because it's a kind of harder target, or a target that's more durable, it can take more hits. When we go in, you'll see that there's a slight pull motion with the hands coming back as well. Okay? So this kind of pull back, pull in. Much like when you're doing clinches, knees, same idea, this pull in. Okay? That's the counterbalance at work as well, bear that in mind. But what you won't see is like some kind of weird 90s R&B style dance, okay? What you will see is they'll pull. This will come in, back half of the body will pull back, which gives that hip coming up, and that drives the power forward in. So we're not bending our spine over the shot, we're leaning away slightly. Not too far that we're falling over, and not too close that we're kind of stopping the shot from having maximum effect. Everyone clear on that? Okay, so make sure that when we come up, we pull. And that gives us the hip more from there. Everyone clear on that? Okay. We kind of favour this kick as what we like to term a door kick, because Because if you envision kicking in the door, it should have the same kind of feel and look to it. Okay? Like I said, thrust kick, long kick, whatever you want to call it, it's a kick off back leg. All good? Okay. Door kick is a nice one for memory. Alright, so, next up. Hold on the side. That's it. Okay, so the next one we said is a roundhouse kick. This is a 6 count kick. Okay? 6 because we add in rotation. Okay? Rotation in, rotation out. In the middle. Okay. So we have our raise as before. We have our extension as before. But what happens is you have to have that rotation in just before it. So now we've changed it to raise, rotate, extend, retract, rotate, and back. Excuse me. So from here we have this extra torn in there. Okay? So when we kick in, we're going up, rotate, extend, back, rotate, back. Okay? When we kick then all the way through, we get a lot more into it than what we were doing before. And what you'll notice is the target's varied. Also, how the kick is delivered is varied, because now it's delivered on an arc rather than a straight line. Okay? That arc is not impenetrable, but it's hefty, let's say. Okay? So, if he picks it up at the wrong time, he's probably going to be in a bad way. Alright? Because if he picks it up at the pinnacle, and down there, that's going to be full hits for him. Okay? However, it can be stopped out here, or it can be stopped over here. Alright? And by over here I mean, if you miss it, or if I miss him, or he gets out of the way of it. Okay? So when we swing through, these kicks should probably have full rotation if we envision them that way. Okay? The idea is, obviously we're not going to go every time, because that's just going to get messy. And you're going to get dizzy, and you're also turning your back on someone who's just stepped away from you. Not necessarily a good idea. Okay? But the idea is that I'm delivering with enough power to get a full cut through or a full circle. Okay? Also known as a roundhouse kick, or whatever you want to call it from there. Roundhouse is probably the most standard one that we use. What we use in this case is, you'll see lots of people doing different things. People will hit with their instep, people will hit with their shin, people will hit with the ball of their foot depending on the target. If it's a kidney shot, we'll hit with the ball of the foot. Anything else? Yeah, soft targets. So stomach, solar plexus, those type of areas. You can also hit the ball of the foot. Instep became something from a point sparring point of view. I'm now wearing pads on my feet when I'm point sparring in competition. Therefore they're safe. So I can kick with them and flick with them and everything else like that. Don't fancy an elbow even with pads on. Just saying. So you have to be careful with these. So where we're hitting is between instep here to shin. Okay? So when we're hitting, that's about the contact point there. Like so. With everything going in, you'll notice the hand shift. Like so. Okay? Those who aren't comfortable can lower this down. So hold for the leg. We can hold for the leg, we can hit it as the thigh, out to the leg. So in and down. Like so. Okay? Everyone got that? Yeah? I'll allow you to kick. Up or down. It's really up to you. Like I said, build up from a low point, then we can work stretching in and everything else and get higher as we go. For now, legs up. Everyone happy with that? Okay, off we go. Where's the target in relation to my hip? Closely. So keep it. That's it. What did we say the target was on the low kick? Where did we say it was? Thigh, yeah? Okay. Quadricep, thigh, whatever. Alright. So, my hip is obviously higher than his thigh. Yeah? So if I bring this up and I select my target above that, okay, so I bring this up and I go, okay, target is lower. Therefore, what angle do I have to fire on? Down. Yeah? 45 down. Suck it. Okay. So, yes, down. Okay? Because obviously I bring this up. So in order to get that target, you've got to shoot down. So the way this would usually hit is in and down. However, up. If he holds up, then obviously it's not going to be the same approach. Because me kicking down, I'm only up on the same position that I was on originally. Make sense, yeah? Okay, so what's the difference between the two targets? 45 up, yeah. Alright? So, you got to kick up on an angle this time as well. Okay? Or just out, depending on where you are. Okay, so I mean, if you're standing there and it's just a nice flat pad, then it's just kicking into the pad. But if we were sparring and it was like one here when I was getting to raise the hands up and maybe the elbow wasn't very, very high that I could kick horizontally into it without clipping it, I might have to come up under it. Okay? So anyone who's seen some of the MMA fights, anything else like that where you've got this kind of kick to the liver idea, Basler in particular, pretty devastating kick, comes up and under, and it comes on a diagonal line up and under. So, option being, if you're throwing from here and you're shortening the kick, it will kick upwards, this way. Everything still remains the same. The only difference is instead of going out, now we go up from here. Okay, so as we hit, that's the kick we're looking for. Or if it's just a pad and you just want to practice your form for your rotation, retraction, all this sort of stuff, you just hit out. Is everyone clear on the difference between them? Okay, if we were to break it down to one word, it's called height. Okay? Up, down, it selects the height. Yeah? Okay. So 45 up, 45 down, height. So, next thing to note is, well, power. There's a limited amount of power to anything, but you can always extend it a little bit more by motion, movement, biomechanics, all of the above. Okay? So, if I'm kicking this and I'm standing here, my left hip is in line with the center of my target. Okay? I'm obviously aiming to cut through my target. So me throwing a kick at this point kind of gives limited returns, because really the power ends about here somewhere. Yeah? So like we said before, our footwork is exactly the same as if I drop back to an inward block, or step forward to an extended block, or drop back to an extended, or whatever. Okay? But the footwork is exactly the same with regards to how it's placed. Okay? So, when I'm standing here, my center is on the center of the target, not my foot. Okay? So from here now, this means if I kick with this, it will cross to the center. If I was to kick with this from the other side, it will cross to the center. Okay? I've split the target by my center line. Make sense? Okay, excellent. So that instantly gives you a little bit more power. There's some, but not lots. Okay? Next. How do I get more power? Presuming I've lined up off the middle, and everything else from here, and everything's on the center line, I am going to slice through this to a point. What if I want to slice further through it? What would I do? Hips. I'm already using hips. So what would you do? Okay, if I want to go further through the target, and we've already said my center line has selected where this is going to cut, what do I do with my center line? Change your center line to where? Past the target. So I would do that with a step, yes? Or you could also do that with an opening. Same idea from here. So footwork twist from here, or a step. Okay? That's a matter of preference. From a basic level, I would say a step is probably a little easier. From a more advanced level, once you're confident with your body posture and everything else, then you can add twists in. Okay? So, in order to get this power in, I will move. Okay? As I move, we'll kick in. So from here I'm lined up. That will give me that extra input. Now, the other thing that we're adding in to make power is, anybody? I'm using my lower body, but realistically I function using all of my body, not just half of my body. So therefore,
counterbalance with your hands.
Counterbalance with the hands. Okay, so upper body must also throw, which then throws the hip forward, like so. That's going to look awesome on video. Alright? So, from here when we hit in, this is going to pull, and this is going to drive out. Okay? So as we hit, we now have more going in every time. There's an extra snap in there. Everyone happy with that? Yes? Okay. Now here's the tricky bit. Do that off your front foot. Go. What are you going to do from here? I'm not going to show you yet. So go. Obviously you're never going to generate the same amount of power off the front foot as you would off the back foot. It's just, you know, sheer mechanics. Laws and so on. Okay, so from here when we kick, this is designed literally as a setup. Or enough to take the wind out of sails for something bigger to happen. Okay? So when you hit, obviously you have big wide arcs with with everything else and the whole body going into it. From here, we need to compact this down now, which is difficult. So when we stand, there's this moment of, you can do it from a raised position to kick in, to build it up, which now sets you up to get this action. This is up, this is target selected. So when I come up, kick in, what you'll notice is the same principles apply, everything has to turn, everything has to rotate, so on and so forth. Okay? How do I do that? Alright. So, from here, you'll drop slip. There has to be this motion of flow. Now, like I said, this kick is a setup. There is no way I'm going to stand here and basically just goop this out with nothing happening. Okay? Unless it's a pattern. Makes sense. Okay? So, we could easily say we set this up, jab cross, whatever from there. Okay? When we set it up, the body's already set. Now we kick back in. Happy days? Okay. So we're moving. There's this moment of shift, switch. Okay? You must contract, you must use the hip motion the same way as we talked about before. So there has to be this direction with the hip going in and the pull on the way back out as well. Okay? Counterbalance, maintain your space. So when we hit from here, that's the type of kick we're looking for. Okay? You're coming up under the guard first off, okay, where possible, or you can hit the leg as we've said as well. Realistically, anything that's open on this line is a target. Bear that in mind as well. It's not going to be a game finisher, it's going to be something that's going to end up softening the person up a little bit so you can finish with something else. Okay? So we are talking setup after setup here. Alright? So, when we move, you nearly want to drop this over as I said, okay? And you'll see there's a slight body shift, okay? Facilitated if we're practicing a full drill from here, okay? So there's nothing to say you can't fake this in just to get your body lined up. From here now, you've got to kick over again. Kick in, okay? I swear I didn't have to jump around like that. Okay. You did. Okay. Everyone happy enough? See the slip cancel? Okay. So let's try it from here first, just to get the leg up, okay? When we get the leg up from here, kick in. You will see that the body still flips, still turns, everything happens from here. It's important that you right yourself back to your base, okay? So I can't just go this way, okay? You have to come back. So when I kick, this is when you set. Set, okay? We do it from here, same thing. Set. Every time. All good? Let's try it a couple of times and then we'll move on. All good? Go. We talked about the last couple of weeks, we talked about the likes of teardropping and stuff when we strike, okay? So we talked about these type of hits here. Last week we talked about this type of hit here, and down, okay? This applies to open hand, to face, to whatever else from here. So we're talking about kind of configurations for power and making a decent impact, okay? This week, because Tommy got it so hard last week, and Tommy got it the week, or well, sorry, Tommy got it 2 weeks ago, Tommy got it last week, Aaron's getting shearing. Okay, so, we've talked about teardropping before, as I said, that's one version of how we hit, how we strike. Shearing is pretty much the same thing, only done on a slightly different angle. So instead of being in, down, or in and up, as we said before, this time now shearing hits in and out, okay? So we're looking at a rip, basically. This is I hit in and gouge it out. Particularly for things like intercostal muscles and the likes, where Sharon's nice and strong in the stomach, so he can build up to impact. But if you hit and pull, they can't bear that, okay? Remember, the body is only able to move in two ways, or able to do two things, mobile or stable, neither at once, okay? So you're either going to be mobile or you're going to be stable. Have a guess what happens when I hit him. What should he be, do you think, when his muscles are tensed? Stable. So I want him to be mobile, because it's important. Okay? Alright. So when I hit him, this is going to start him moving first off, and then the next thing I'm going to do is tear away. Like so. Okay? So when you hit in, curve. And that's going to give you that rip. Okay? It's not done as hit. That's two hits, that's the waist. When I hit, we're good. Good. That's the move we're looking for. Okay? This is not funny for everyone. Everyone's going to get hit by me tonight once. Okay? You okay? Yeah, grand. Okay. So, from here. See how it's done?
I didn't see that. Can I see it again?
So, from here when we block, okay? Now, I'm going to be nicer this time because we're aiming around about the ribs, and yes, I'm accurate, but still I don't want to tear his ribs out. Okay, we're going to do attacking mace tonight from yellow belt Kenpo, okay? Soon to be yellow belt, there we go. So, when we block, I'm going to hit through. Now, the punch is a horizontal punch, not a vertical punch in this point, but that doesn't change anything. The punch is still going to hit in, that'll be nice on this one. Okay? Punch in, rip out, okay? So, direction is to send him this way, and then tear out on the other side, okay? Start to get a nice square on the body which opens up the groin. I'll go with this. Now, this is not me saying, this is the focus of this technique, this is everything we are doing tonight. No, we are still building on the basics that we already have. Okay? So this is not me saying, just focus on this and forget everything else. This is saying, add this to what we have already done. Okay? Clear? Right. So, when he punches, I step back, okay? Again. I step back, from here I drive forward. Okay, you'll notice the same position for the first move as we've done all along. Prep position here, okay, point of origin, here. Okay, last week was here. Previous weeks have probably been back here somewhere or whatever else, but we fixed that since. So from here, this is our point of origin here, okay? When we strike in, turn the back hip in, and I drive forward. If I was to hit him straight on, I'm going to push with this, it will send him back. So what I want to do is get that action where I do send him back, but I also maintain his position. Okay? Everyone good on that? You'll notice that my left hand still checks. If it doesn't, I'm going to eat a lot of him. Plus he's already angry. Alright, so from here when he punches, I step back, block, drive, hit in. And your partner will eventually move no matter what happens. Okay? So from here we grab, and we're going to kick. Okay? Like I said before, instep on a roundhouse kick or ball of the foot. Ball of the foot in this case. Okay? Instep, point scoring, right. Ball of the foot, dagger. Okay? So you're looking to get it into soft target or ribs at this point. Okay? Somewhere that works. So when I kick, hop in. I land forward. As I land forward, I pull and punch directly to the ribs. This last punch doesn't have the same kind of shear action that the first one does, but it does hit. So when I land, I kick, land forward, hit. And this hits in this way, direct to the kidney. Okay? So from this side, I block. From here as I block, drive forward and kick. Okay? I grab. The other hand now preps point of origin here again. Okay? From here I kick. As I kick, I land forward. Pull and punch. And hit. And back. And then we exit in stylish Kenpo fashion. Okay? Yes. Everyone happy enough, or we want to see that one more time? Happy enough? Happy enough? Okay, let's try that. He fires. Yeah, that's it. So from here, he fires. This comes in. So hits. Watch him panic. Okay. Hit through. Hit in. Okay? Make sure this cover is here. Okay? What I generally find, we make allowances for certain things, not everything. Poor technique is not one of them, okay? If I'm too close, I can kick him or I can knee him. We can knee him, that would involve me sending him somewhere else, and I'm not going to do that right now. So, when we move, once I'm in position here and I grab, we have what's built into our system is known as a gauge step, which allows me to gauge distance, okay? This is not me going, well, it's okay, it was a gauge step. Because as we said, I'm in, I don't want to be back, and then back in. Okay? When I hit, I may need to give myself a little bit of space, but I haven't lost ground. And if we look at, again, relating to what we talked about with the pads earlier on, how do I get more power into something? I step. It's kind of cool, isn't it, the way this all kind of fits together? It's so awesome. It's almost systemic or something. So from here I block and I punch, okay? From here I step, or systematic even. From here step out, kick, alright? Which allows me that space then to deliver that kick comfortably, okay? There's also grounds that I could deliver with the shin, but my target will have to be something with the ribs on the side, yeah? Where I want to be is always here, because when you get sick, it really makes you feel so good, okay? I land, and as I land, we drive back in. So bear in mind there is footwork in place, okay? where if you're too close, you do have to move. However, you should never have to go all the way back here to make the kick function. If I am in range, I remain in range, and even there in the middle. Make sense? All good? Everyone see the tweak? Anyone find that difficult on the kick? No? Okay. Nobody found the kick difficult. Best class ever. Alright then. So, that's what we're looking at in that one. Okay? With the shear, we're going to add to this now, and we're going to do a slightly more advanced technique. Ha ha ha. Okay. Now we're going to do a technique called gathering clouds. So I'm going to gather clouds. Okay. When I step forward, this time, instead of stepping back, I parry. When I step forward, this hits. This is not me doing one of these or anything else. What we're going to do is we're going to stick with the theme of hit, shear. Okay? Technique itself will hit like a gunt, as we like to call it, which is this kind of scissor motion. Smack it, either arm or ribs or whatever else. What we're going to play with tonight is this direction. We're going to hit and we're going to shear out from here. Okay? So, stepping forward, we're going to drive through. As I hit, this is going to cover and go through this position. All good on that? Yes? Okay, got to get deep. So I get deep. I chop in the spine, or kidney, okay, or something. So from here I hit, come back to here, this position. All right, I'm taking this hand away to illustrate this, or demonstrate this. This is here, because we already know if it's not here, I'm going to eat something, okay? So, we hit, I check, I drop back in on this position. Everyone clear? Okay, we're going to go one option for now, and I'll give you the second option. Step through, elbow, okay? So, I basically rip them out, send them back, cave them in. Yeah? These ribs don't taste nice, take them back. So, from here then, that's where we're going to stop. Okay? And I'll give you something else at the end. All good? So, once more. Step and I check. As I step and I check, I hit through. Gouge them out from here, okay? I hit, gouge, pop back in. From here, step forward. And collapse that elbow in. Keeping that check there. Okay? Alright. Off we go. The shearing motion for now, so we're keeping a theme. Okay? I step, I parry. As I hit, I drive through. This hits and it gouges through. From here, we have to chop in the back. Okay? So far I've said to you, go forward, go behind them. Okay? As I go behind them, there's a target available. Okay? Anyone want to guess what the target available is? Baseball ball. Correct. Both. It's both. Alright. Since we jumped the gun, we'll go for both. Alright now. So from here I drop in. Feed, chop, drop in. As I drop in from here, I turn. Everyone see that? You shouldn't see it. Alright? Then you don't know what's coming. So here I turn in, I hook to the eyes, and I scoop. Now, anyone who was here the last couple of weeks, left, right? Slowly. 1, 2, hit, elbow, hammer, hammer. Pull and hit, yeah? Look familiar for those who were here? Those who weren't? Ha. Okay? So from here, pop, hit, drop in. Now I'm doing the same thing, but just from the other side of the body. Okay? So I turn, I hook, check his shoulder, I pull. This is going into his eye, and let's be not mistaken about this. Okay? But I do have him with the forehead because, well, I can't see his eye, and I'd like him to still have it tomorrow. Alright? Or, well, at least in 10 minutes. From here I pull, and as I pull, I scoop out on the wood. All good? Cool. One refinement. Pop. From here I chop. This chop has now loaded up my elbow. It's not me going and collapsing on the elbow. The elbow is a collapsing elbow, but what it is not is this. Okay? So I've hit. From here now, I collapse it in, but I drop in. Okay? This is, like we said about teardropping, that I can work with open hand punches, whatever, hammers, all this type of stuff. It also works with elbows. Teardrop elbow, basically, if I think of a cup here or a drop of water, drop it off. Thanks to friends of mine who explained that. Okay? So from here, drop, elbow comes in. So from here, there we go, drop it down, and it gives you that nice position. Okay? catch him right and he's not going to get back up for the rest of the technique, so don't catch him too right. So from here we've hit this, we drop this in, okay? We turn, we hook, we pull and scoop on the way back. All good? Okay, option the second. Haha, this is very cookie brain because we're running out of time. So, punch. One, from here, hit through, hit this. Instead of going behind, now we go in front. Okay? Now obviously going in front isn't a bit of an issue because, well, basically he has a knee there. If he has that knee there, it's in my way. It's not that it's going to hit me in the groin because it really won't, you know. Alright, so from here when I drop in, that knee is in my way from my target, which is again my, or his. Come on. Groin! And eyes. Okay. It's really not that difficult, guys. With Kenpo, we kick in the nuts. Okay? So from here, we pop forward, we hit through. There we go. We hit through. We pop, from here, we elbow. As I elbow now, I bumble. So I turn slightly. Now I scoop. How do I get the eye hook in? Well, I scoop him and as he falls, I go whoop, and pull him on the way back in. Everyone okay with that? Okay. Let's leave out the eye hook and the checks and everything else because that's a little bit over the top. Complicated for now. Drive through, pop. I step forward. I elbow. I pull. Scoop. Keep that check in though for now. Okay? Feel like trying the eye hook? Try it. But, you know, don't focus on it too much for now. All good? Okay, so try backwards and front. Off you go. Something similar to this I learned somewhere else. So we hit through. As I hit, I drive through. Boom. This chops, this elbows with the step in, okay? From here, I get to be mean again. Because notice the way he's folding this way. Yeah, like here? Okay. From here, when I drop, I'm going to open. Isn't someone standing near me? I'm going to close my hand for this one because it doesn't hurt as much as open hand. So, from here, when I hit, this is going to hit the kidney, okay? The other hand here, I'm going to check this down. As I do this, I'm going to take this leg back and drive in. So, drive through, hit, elbow. As I hit this, I drop back, okay? As I drop back from here to this position, I switch forward. Now, when I'm here, this will hit here also, okay? And this is, again, you're dropping. Boom. Okay? So, from here, pop, check down, from here, hit through. Now, interestingly, once we drop through, it's going to hit the chest, it's going to hit the face, as we said. If he's still standing, yeah, okay, we all get the point, we shouldn't. From here we hit. We can also move to here, and still finish on that little sour note for him. Okay? Piscine, I like to call it. Alright. So, there's a lot we can do with it. There's a lot we can play around with. That version is from someone else, not from our system in particular. I quite like it, just purely from point of type of hitting that they do and everything else like that. Okay? And that concludes tonight's class.